Warning, the following audio transmission is based on theory and is intended for entertainment purposes only. It's Doomsday and its affiliates will not be held liable for anything your dumbass does. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome, everybody, to It's Doomsday Podcast. Today is Monday, February 16th, 2026, and joining me, as always, is Local Prepper. What's going on, man?
Same stuff, different day.
Oh, yeah? That's fun and exciting.
Not at all.
Are you feeling secure, though? Are you feeling that sense of security?
Always.
Good, because that's what today's topic is on.
That's
security.
Good. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Isn't that a convenient segue?
I'm telling you, yeah, it's perfect.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we have covered water, food, getting into these pillars of preparedness, and we figured it was only fitting next to do security would be the next thing. And I think that before we even start tearing into all these different topics within security, I think that it is an individual need, and every individual's need is different. So what works for one is not going to work for all. Does that make sense?
Yep, exactly.
Okay. And I think that when we talk about security, the first thing, as somebody that's worked in the security industry, I would like to point something out. Unless you know there's a problem, you don't know what you're protecting yourself against. Okay? Now, most preparedness people don't have shit tons of money to go out and buy these crazy off-grid surveillance systems. But early warning systems are key. If you don't know there's a threat outside, if you don't know somebody's stealing tomatoes from the garden, if you don't know anything that's going on, there's nothing you could really do about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And do you know one of the most simplistic things you can do that is relatively inexpensive, that is just kind of everybody forgets what their purpose is? Do you know what you could do?
Pay attention.
Well, yeah, but some people can't even afford that. But what you do is you can buy a dog.
Oh, yeah. I like dogs. They're delicious.
They are. So it's also, it's a 2-use item for the apocalypse. It alerts you that there's security, and then you can also eat it. And then if you're into companionship, there is that third option. And if you're like some sickos out there, there's also the peanut butter route for extra companionship. I would not recommend. But no, I mean, simply having a dog to let you know that there's a predator out there at night going after your chickens, that there could potentially be a trespasser on your property. The dog goes a long way in the realm of preparedness. And a lot of preppers out there do have dogs for that exact reason. Now, like I originally said, this doesn't fit into everybody's prerogative, because what if you're in an apartment complex?
Mm-hmm.
All right, 1, 2, 3.
Dogs.
1, 2, 3, go. Your turn.
Well, I mean, those are all things that falls into my bag of stuff. But with preparedness with security on the preparedness side, there's way more to it than the stuff. I think basically looking at it from a core principles aspect, you should have good situational awareness first before anything else. You need to always be aware of your surroundings. You want to be looking for unusual activity, kind of like making eye contact with people, and knowing where your exits are. Then you need to teach this to your families and friends. Criminals target the victims very easily these days. Then there's the whole OPSEC thing, which I pretty much blew out the door when I decided to get on YouTube. But for regular people out there who are just listening, it's non-negotiable. Obviously you never want to brag online or in person about your preps, your stockpiles, your weapons, your location. Kind of a loose lips sinks ships mentality, and because it kind of attracts threats. I've actually had people show up, and they kind of figured out where I was, and oh, you look exactly the same as you do online. And I'd never once talked about my online persona out in this public venue. You know what I'm saying? So it does happen. Also, maybe think about layered defenses. No single measure is going to stop everything. You want to build concentric rings, perimeter, exterior, interior, personal response. I was actually thinking about you yesterday. I drove past this prison the other day, and there was a white truck sitting right out at a corner where the two fences meet, just staring at the buildings. I was like, that's him. That's the guy. That's the boring ass job right there.
That's it. I've done that job. It fucking sucks.
I know.
The white truck. I've done that.
I know, right? I was telling the girlfriend, and it's like, he can't read a book. He can't play on his phone. He can't play his guitar that he sucks at. I mean, he can't do any of that stuff. He just has to sit there and go,
Yeah, that's it. And this is how I became so in tune to the fact that they are spraying shit in the air, because I got to watch the chemtrails every day, 12 hours a day being sprayed in the sky. Anyway, that's another topic for another day.
I know,
so
right?
You went a little further than I was ready to go to, but since you got us there, since we advanced so quickly in this topic.
Well, I mean, you got to keep up.
The next thing I really wanted to get into was deterrence. Right. So the dog is a great deterrent itself. If a stranger or somebody shady is coming around and they see that dog, they're going to think twice about what they're going to do, because everybody's had an interaction with a dog. Okay. We're in America. A lot of people have been bitten by dogs, myself included. You can't negotiate with a dog.
Nope.
You can't talk a dog down. You can't do these things. So it's a defensive layer in itself. Now, there's other little things that go into these defensive layers. Now, there's people that think that you need to put up 10-foot perimeter fencing around your home and barbed wire and electric fencing and all that stuff. But if you come to my house, there's one way in, there's one way out. Okay? Like, that's it. And it's very easily disguised by an electric goat fence and a wooded tree line, right? Yeah. So anybody that enters my property, there's one way for a vehicle to come in. There's one way for a vehicle to go out. All right. And what this does is this allows me to control who's coming up the road. And LP has been here and knows that, like, I'm out kind of off a dead end road, off a dead end road, off a dead end road. So there's no mistaking coming back here. And if somebody does end up back here, they're forced to turn around here because there's nowhere else to go. So I've got surveillance outside. I get a notification on my phone. Hey, there's a vehicle in your driveway. I go out. I make contact with the person. Hey, why are you here? So that in itself is the deterrent, because they know as soon as they come up here, there's nowhere to run to, and they're going to get confronted as soon as they enter that driveway, and they're going to know that for next time. Hey, I pulled in here. I don't know where I am. This guy automatically knew I was here and came outside and made contact with me.
Yep. He did it pretty quickly, too, so he's paying attention.
Right, exactly. So it's as simple as my phone makes a chime. I look on the phone. I see who's outside. If it's the mailman, I don't go bother him. If it's a vehicle I don't know, I go out there. So prime example of this is about 2 or 3 days ago, I get a notification on my thing, person in driveway. I just assume it's my dad. I look out there. I've got 3, I don't know, mid-teens kids, maybe 14, 15, 16, somewhere in that neighborhood. And there's 3 of them, and they're just standing in my driveway looking around. I'm like, who the fuck are these kids? Right. So I go outside and I'm like, hey, can I help you? And they said, well, we just wanted to know what church you went to. And I was like, oh, okay. And they were passing out pamphlets for their church. But again, was not a threat, was not a problem. But I was able to go out there and make contact with somebody pretty damn quickly based on having the surveillance and a one-way in, one-way out feature. Now, to the untrained eye, that doesn't look like anything. This dude's got a driveway with some goats and a bunch of trees. Like, that's it. Little do they know they're on surveillance the moment that they get onto the property.
Yeah.
Right? So it's designed to not look like anything, but it is something. And I say all that to say this. Forget the 10-foot high perimeter fences, things like that. Little deterrence, planting bushes in certain areas, putting up animal fencing in certain areas, anything that's going to conduct. So think about this: flow of water, flow of electricity takes the point of, or the path of less resistance, right? Human beings do the same thing. So if you have, I'm not saying junk up your yard, but I'm saying if you have actual deterrence, gardens in with fences, this, that, the other, and people are wanting to come up and see what you have, they're not going to go through the trouble of hopping and climbing through bushes and over barbed wire and all these things to get to an area that they want to access. They're going to go whatever's quick and clean and less noisy.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
The path of least resistance.
Path of least resistance. With a hard R, resistance.
Mm-hmm. Got to roll the R.
Roll the R.
That was the wrong sign. Grrr, there we go.
I can't.
That was something different.
Anyway, so I do want to just, I know every listener out there's probably like, when are they going to get to the guns? When are they going to get to the guns? I don't want to get into the guns because there's other things you can do as far as security deterrence without resorting to the firearms. And you did mention something that I wanted to get into, and that was the OPSEC.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So in my experience, people won't go after what they don't know exists. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
You picking up what I'm putting down?
I'm sure.
So whenever you guys are building your little food pantries, your prepper stashes, or you're trying to hide a bunch of toilet paper around the house, you don't want to do this in plain view for everybody to see. All right? Now, something else I would like to throw out there is people that frequently visit houses, your cable guy, maybe the window repairman, the locksmith, the handyman, all these guys that frequently visit homeowners, plumbers, electricians, etc. These guys go into so much homes on a yearly basis, they're not remembering what you have. Okay, unless you have something that's unforgettable, like a bunker, yeah, or they have to walk through a vault door to get
sign
into
this
your living
NDA.
room.
You think that guy's not coming back? You're a fool.
Who?
No, that I think it's hilarious because I know guys that had bunkers installed on their property, and they make the people who are doing the installation sign an NDA, or pour the slab. You know what I'm saying? The construction workers,
Right.
saying that they'll never talk to anybody about this. But you think they're not coming back if something goes wrong? They're coming right to your house.
Right. And that's again, I go back and I like, so it's somebody that, okay, so I respond to emergency calls and I go to a lot of different houses. And I could tell you there's only been a few houses I've been in where it's like, oh, this guy's a prepper and he's got bookshelves full of canned food and all these things. But I'll tell you what, I go so many places that I don't even remember where the hell that house is now. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
it's gone. It like I remember walking through the front door. I don't remember the address. I don't remember what street it was on just because we frequent so many places. And that's what you guys have to understand. It's not it's not the regular people that come in your home every day that you need to be worried about. It's the one-off people. Like you meet a person online and they come over. That's the person you need to be worried about. You know, you befriend somebody at the bar and they come over to play video games. That's the person you need to be worried about. You know, all your grinder matches. That's who you need to be worried about.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely be careful with that.
Yeah, with the grinder, it's sketchy. It's definitely sketchy. Anyway, moving forward, if you hide your preps well, and if you are not to the outside world a prepper, that's one of your best defenses right there. Not letting people know that you do this. Because if they don't know you're doing it, they don't know you have shit, and they're not going to come to you if there's a problem. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
Anyway. All right, your turn.
Well, I mean, I would probably caveat on that. You know, that's the bottom line with OPSEC is that it's sooner or later someone close to you is going to figure it out. And then the danger is, do they have a big mouth? You know, and a lot of them do. You know what I'm saying? It's some people just like to talk. Oh, I was over John's house the other day. We had a great time. And did you know that guy's a prepper? I mean, I don't know for sure, but he's got a lot of food in his basement and all the guns he's got. Wow. Yeah, you're sooner or later, you're going to run into one of those kind of people, and it's going to be very, very dangerous.
Right.
You know? So That's what I'll say about what you're talking about.
Right. And I think it's just a very, we as human beings like to gravitate toward other people that like share interests and hobbies, right?
Yeah.
And I've been saying this kind of thing for years. Like I'm into certain things. I'm not a big, huge football fan, so I don't go to football parties. Like I got a guy that invites me over for fight night like all the time, but I don't watch the UFC fights.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, so I'm just going to be over there bored, annoying you, asking you what's going on every 5 minutes because I don't watch this shit. You're not going to want me there, dude. So I don't go. All right. So a lot of people are like, if you're into guns and you love shooting guns, you're going to try to find people that also do that. And you're going to share collections and show them what you got. And they're going to show you what they got. And then that's one more person that knows what you have.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So small circles, guys, small circles, keep your circle small. The less mouths, like LP was saying, people talk. They have big mouths. Right. So the OPSEC is key. But I do have other things for, actually securing your home.
No, that's good.
As well. So, is that it? Is it time to feed the cat?
No, it's
okay.
stupid alarm.
So, there's many ways you can go about securing your home. And all of these kind of go back to the first thing of if you don't know a problem exists, then you don't know what you're defending against. You can't even do anything until you know that there's a problem. So early warning and alert systems are absolutely fantastic, but tend to not be so fantastic when the grid goes down, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are a ton of options out there. There's absolutely too many to list when you start talking about solar-powered driveway alarms, solar-powered cameras. Like the list of these things goes on and on and on. But I want you all to start thinking about little simplistic things, all right, that are inexpensive, that don't require power. Add an extra deadbolt to the front door, okay? Add a deadbolt to your bedroom door. If you have a room in the house that you can barricade yourself with some survival items in case there is a major threat, maybe that's the door that you throw the extra deadbolt on, or you throw a secondary lock on, right? Do not underestimate the cheapo, 10 for $5 pack of window alarms that can go on windows, doors, and anything you don't want to be open to let you know that, hey, someone's here, right? These do not require grid-tied power, okay? Now, I'm not saying this is a scenario where you need to go out with a string and a can and some rocks and make like little bells all around your property. But hey, if you're off grid long enough, why not?
Mm-hmm.
If that's what it comes down to. But other little simple things are battery powered motion lights. Okay. There's a ton of those options on Amazon that are relatively cheap and inexpensive. And LP's been here. He knows I have them on my house. Right.
I know where all your lights are.
Right. And these require no grid-tied power. They're powered by the sun. They're rechargeable. They're extremely cheap. And it's just kind of a really nice thing to know that you could be outside, a light pops on, and boom, there's somebody with a light now casted on them. And you immediately see that threat. Okay? It's quite wondrous and fantastic.
Wondrous and fantastic. I like
wondrous those. And fantastic. That's when you start getting into like really bad grid down situations, 6 months goes by and you're in the apocalypse. Everything is going to drastically change. A lot of the things we're talking about is mainly like immediate failure. Things had just happened. Things have just hit the fan, and you're trying to kind of scramble and make sure things are good, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there is the preparation aspect of this, of getting some of these items in advance, the deadbolts, the solar powered, motion lights, things like that. Okay. It's your turn. Go.
To add to that, I try to find there's a methodology that I like to use. It's called deter, delay, detect, and defend. And it can get kind of deep, but layering on top of what you're talking about, there are some really neat doodads out there that no one buys. They're super cheap. You can buy these little motion alarms that you just hook them over your doorknob. You know, you'd basically lock your house up like any time, right? And then they look like little teardrops, but they've got those sonic alarms inside of them, and it's got a motion detector on it. And you turn it on, and if anybody tries to move your door, like shake it or turn the doorknob in the middle of the night, this alarm goes off. That is point of entry security at its best. And the nice thing about it is you can turn it off, take it with you to wherever you're going, a hotel room, your mom's house, wherever you want to be alerted if somebody's trying to open your door. And these things are like $10. They cost almost nothing. The other thing too is, you talk about the dog. Well, I love beware of dog signs because you can put them anywhere and you don't even have to own a dog.
Right.
People will think twice about that kind of crap. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to like set up like tripwires or do any kind of crazy stuff. You could just do the simplest things. This property monitored by video camera. It will deter a lot of people, whether you have alarms or cameras or what. It doesn't matter. It will slow a lot of people down. They'll think twice about it.
So there is one thing I want to talk about. There is a catch-22 with the dog when we're talking about long-term apocalyptic things, right?
Yep.
Grid's been down for 5 years. You have a dog. Okay. This then becomes a problematic thing.
Yeah,
all right.
You got to feed it.
Well, you got to feed it, but here's the big thing. People are going to figure out in the apocalypse that if there's a dog in the area, that means there's a food source in the area, and there's probably a human feeding that dog.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So in the event people are starving, it's the apocalypse, there's marauders, things like that. Once you're so far in and grocery stores are shut down, local emergency services have shut down, they can't feed anybody anymore, like we are screwed.
Mm-hmm.
People are going to start walking toward the sounds of barking dogs.
Yeah.
And there is this whole weird theory that I read about a while ago that said that when the apocalypse happens and people realize they can't feed their dogs, they will assume just set them free and let them fend for themselves.
Nope. They're going in the stew.
Well, or they might go in a stew. But it talked about how we'll have packs of roaming dogs that eventually become wild again. And that is going to pose one of the biggest threats in the apocalypse are just these wild dogs, some of them carrying rabies. Some of them might be okay, and they're just coming around looking for a snack and they're friendly, but a lot of them will be extremely dangerous because they're going to be out there breeding. They're not getting distemper shots. They're not getting rabies shots. They're not getting anything that they need, and they will be carrying diseases, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's a whole theory that goes long-term, like, you're talking grid down for 5 years. That's going to be the threat.
Yeah.
Right.
It doesn't take long. I'm telling you right now, within a year of the fall of Venezuela, they had a serious problem with packs of wild dogs that people could no longer feed them. So they just would open the door and the dog would go. And they're going to find each other. They're going to key on each other's sound and scent and all these other things. And like I said, they're going to be making babies and looking for food because at that point, they're just wild animals.
Right. And they're doing what nature intended them to do, which is survive and procreate.
Yeah, but it doesn't take long, like a year maybe, tops.
Right. It will. Some other things that go into the realm of security is people are typically on the prowl at nighttime.
Prowl.
Okay? On the prowl at nighttime. Grinder. Watch Grindr reach out and try to sponsor the show. Wouldn't that
would be hilarious?
It would.
It would absolutely be hilarious.
So, ladies and gentlemen, like I could tell you, bad things typically happen at night. Okay? Like, under the cover of darkness has been coined because you could get away with more under the cover of darkness, and criminals know that. People with bad intentions know that. So one surefire thing you can do in the realm of security is not make it known that you're existing anywhere at night, right? It's that freaking simple. And this is something that people have known about for, hundreds of years, centuries. They knew this, right? There's one village we go to and we visit in Greece called Castania. And in Castania, they built that village up high in the mountain Okay. So they could have their warming fires and cook and do things, in the evenings and keep their homes warm. And they built this village in an area to where the incoming ships would not be able to see the fires. Specifically, this entire village was built to be hidden at night, primarily. Okay. So this all goes back to this idea that you don't want to have your house, the interior, highly illuminated at night. Okay. You don't want to have, big visible warming fires outside at night, letting people know that there's presence in that area. And I know everybody goes back to this apocalyptic idea of like, oh yeah, the apocalypse, we're going to cook food and we're going to have all these flashlights and I'm going to have solar going and I'm going to keep the house lit up and everything running and it's going to be great. It is, till somebody realizes the structure you're in is inhabited and you're thriving and they're going to want a piece of what you have. Right? So by all means, do what you need to do for survival, keep the warming fire going, stuff like that. But use your electronics during the day for whatever you need them for, and then keep that house dim at night, not lit up at night. Because that's an automatic sign that there is human life there. If you're the only house on the block with power and you're in there, lights on, TV going, DVD player going, whatever, people are going to know that you're there. It's that simple.
Yeah,
right?
If your house looks like the like a Generac commercial,
right?
Where it's like they're sitting it and then nothing happens, and the generator's on, and you're watching your big screen TV, you're gonna have a bad day.
Now, in the initial event of a disaster, excuse me, we had to go door to door after we got whacked with Hurricane Helene here, and you wouldn't believe how many people have backup standby generators.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going and knocking on doors to clear homes and stuff, just, making sure people are okay. Like, knocking on a door, like, hey, do you guys have everything you need, et cetera? Are you trying to evacuate the area? What do you need from us? But so many homes are just, nobody's there. They're vacation homes, hunting cabins, whatever. And their backup generators kicked on, lights are on, nobody's home.
That's hilarious.
Totally desolate. Like these people are out of town and their house is just up and going. Like nothing happened. And we're like waiting for somebody to come outside and nobody's coming to the door. It's not a thing. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it's in a situation like that, if somebody comes across that house with the generator running and everything's fine and the Starlink's going and they're like, wow, this is great.
Oh, if I'm a marauder, that's my new house.
Right. They're going to stay, And that kind of begs the there's one more thing I wanted to talk about with this, okay? And then I'm pretty much done with this topic is you don't want to stray too far away from the nest, okay? At any point in time, you do not. You don't want to go on a 2-day hunt, a 2-day hike. You don't want to be gone for all daylight hours, okay? It's not a good tactic to have in the apocalypse. So if you think that I don't need to stock food, I'm just going to go hunt and go home and hunt and go home, you're going to end up coming home to a surprise you don't want.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to be very strategic in your planning, and you need to be very strategic with the people who are remaining behind and, sharing your plan with them, letting them know what's going on. You can't just abandon your property and expect to come back and have everything be fine. Because if a marauder comes, like LP said, that's going to be their new house, not yours.
Yep. They're going to take it.
So do you have anything else you want to add into the security aspect of this?
Yeah, I guess I would probably close with, a couple of the things that people should probably do just to be proactive. I guess the first one would be, walk your property like an intruder. What looks easy, what looks vulnerable. Use that mindset. Then I would probably say test your locks, your lights, your cameras, and do it regularly. Because, I don't know how many times I've walked up to a door and like the door handle's about to fall off because the screws are just coming out of it. It happens. Maybe practice some drills. What's going to be your family's response, or are you going to use anything like blackout comms or any kind of perimeter checks? Something. You don't have to go crazy with it. And I think the last thing is balance security with your daily life. What you don't want to do is you don't want to turn your home into a prison that you hate living in. So I think that's what I would close with.
Gotcha. Sounds great. And ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the show, and share this friend out with, friends, coworkers, family members, local pet, whatever. And we'll be back here next week with another exciting episode of the It's Doomsday podcast.
This is an emergency action message. At approximately 1 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, NORAD is tracking 15 ICBM nuclear missiles inbound to the following cities: Orlando, Miami, Pittsburgh, Dover, Newark, Richland, Philadelphia, New York City, Baltimore, Los Angeles, Las Vegas, Boston, Seattle, Detroit. This is an extremely deadly situation. Stay tuned. The next emergency message will be a presidential address.